You think our laws are harsh. We had only one: steal and you die. A long time ago, in a faraway land, there was a tribe. They were poor, so they lived off what little they could hunt and gather. But one day, one of their men, let's call him Jomo, found a stash of dried meat, maybe left behind by a passing nomad. It wasn't the tribe's, but seeing as how it was their season of giving, he thought he'd be blessed to take it. As he walked away with the meat, the old shaman saw him. He knew the meat wasn't Jomo's. The shaman confronted him, but Jomo claimed it was a gift from the gods. There was no trial, no prison. The tribe gathered. Jomo's hand was placed on a flat rock. The shaman took another rock and brought it down. A single, wet crack was all that could be heard. Then Jomo was dragged away. The tribe couldn't afford weakness. It couldn't afford traitors. They believed in swift justice. They believed in harsh punishments for a reason. Life was hard enough as it was. They had to constantly move in search of food. Winter was coming, and if they weren't prepared, more than a few would die. Now, back then, I was part of that tribe, and we did what we had to do to survive. One of our people was stealing from another. What were we to do? Forgive him? Let him get away with it? No, we had rules. Rules to keep order, to keep us together. Our way of life was brutal, but it was honest. We lived by the spear. We died by the spear. So, when Jomo was taken away, I didn't shed a tear. He got what he deserved. In fact, I stood with the others, watching what happened next. His hand was placed on a rock, his fingers spread wide. The shaman came up behind him, raised the second rock high, and without warning, smashed it down. There was no appeal, no mercy. I saw the fear on Jomo's face, heard the scream that died in his throat, the crunch of bone on bone. And then he was still. I remember thinking that was the law. Quick, brutal, final. If that meant survival, then that's what we had to do. It wasn't pleasant, sure, but it made us strong. We pulled through that winter and many more after that. Looking back, I don't regret what we did. I don't regret what I saw. Those were the days of our lives, and we had to do what we had to do to keep going. Years passed and the stories changed. Legends were born of the great and powerful chieftain and his tribe. Someday, I'm sure it'll be your turn to hear the stories, to look back and wonder at how things were done back then. But for now, I'll leave you with this. You whine about justice. Let me tell you about justice. A man steals food. The tribe gathers. No words. They take his hand, place it on a rock. The chief smashes it with another, a scream, and that's it. It's over. He's now a burden, a reminder, a lesson for the rest. That was the law, quick, brutal, final. Back then, if you weren't with us, you were against us. There was no room for mercy because mercy was weakness. And weakness, as I said, was the same as death? So I ask you now, is that justice or just survival?